It is I, Mr. Dr. Professor MC. Hold your applause, hold your applause. I am here with my assistant Jimmy. Jimmy, say hello. All right now, I see a lot of these playoff games, and they're very physical. And I just thought we would need another lesson on how NBA defense is supposed to be played. It's the playoffs. It's extra physical. I get it, but a lot of times this is how I see Steph Curry getting guarded. This I see him like this. I see they got him in a headlock like this. I see they grab it on his leg like this. I see they grab it on his arms like this. And I'm just like, that's actually not how you play defense, okay? Thank you, Jimmy. Go away. All right? You know, you want to get in your defensive stance. You want to be able to move laterally like that, you know what I'm saying? You want to be able to move laterally. You want to be able to contest a shot like this, you know what I'm saying? Not put people in the headlock. You know what I'm saying? I just thought I'd do a little PSA announcement, you know what I'm saying, on NBA defense. just thought I'd do that real quick. It's hot. I'm gonna take this off, guys. I'm gonna take this off. All right, I'm gonna put my lab coat. Yeah, this is my lab coat. I'm gonna put that right here. All right, we're gonna discuss some games. Welcome back to them. I'm gonna put my camera down a little bit too. I'm not editing this out. I don't care. All right, let's just do that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. There we go. Indeed. Okay. Well, welcome back. Like I said, I'm not editing any of this out. Real, authentic, which is why you guys should be subscribing to me. You know, I've gained a few new subscribers. Thank you to you guys. I really appreciate it. Any and all help would be greatly appreciated. I tell you, we slowly grind it. You know, it takes patience to build your community, but we are building it, and I appreciate all the love and comments I get. I really do appreciate it. Now we're gonna touch on a few games, not all of them. Actually, there's a playoff game that's about to start. It's probably started already between the Heat and the Cavs, game 3. So, you know, don't want to take up too much time because, you know, I gotta do some homework. That's my homework. I want to start with Orlando and Boston, game 3. Boston loses. Orlando gets the W, 93-95. That was a very physical game as well. I wonder, Boston Celtics fans, you tell me, because when I was watching the game, when I saw how physical it was, it took me back to that game in March where OKC and Boston played in Boston, and OKC ended up winning without J-Dub. And I remember that game, OKC really took the physicality to Boston, and it really threw them off their game. It wasn't as I don't know. I don't know if I should say bad, but I know it wasn't the same as what it was this game versus that game. But Boston Celtics fan, you let me know. Does the physicality hurt Boston a lot? They only scored 93 points. The Orlando Magic are the second best defense in the league. Or finished the regular season as the second best defense in the league, I should say. So the physicality, they're the best three-point defense in the league. They allowed the least amount of three-pointers. So stylistically, the Orlando Magic actually do, I guess, match up pretty well with the Boston Celtics on the defensive side of the ball. And you saw that last night with how physical they were with Jaylen Brown. Porzingis didn't hit any threes. Tatum came back after missing game 2. I thought he had a really good start to the game. He ended up finishing with 36 points, so he had a fantastic game. But their three-point defense, I got the stats right here, or their three-point offense, I should say. They were 9 for 27. They attempt 48 threes in the league. That's the most in the league. I believe the Golden State Warriors are number 2 at like 42. For the Orlando Magic to hold the Boston Celtics to 27 three-point attempts, 9 27, 33%. That's fit. Like, to me, that's the story of the game. Their ability to not allow many threes. They're not a team that helps a ton. They do help a little bit. Boston is also a team that usually doesn't help defensively too much. They did sometimes when Banchero got like Derek White on the switch or whatever, but these are two teams who are great defensively and who don't usually send a lot of help. And Orlando Magic did a very good job of limiting threes. Again, Tatum was just cooking. He got to the basket a lot. He got to the free throw line, 12 of 12 from the free throw line. So that was good. But Jaylen Brown, 19, and Derek White, 16, both 7 of 14 from the field. But the three, like without the threes, the Boston Celtics look like a whole different team. There's a statistic out there when they shoot less than like what 35% from three, they're beatable. But it's not just they shot less than 35% from three, they shot 20 less threes than their average. That's very, very big. I still think Boston Celtics are gonna win this series. But if you are the Knicks or the Pistons, who they'll face one of those guys in the next round, you're looking at the Orlando Magic and you have to be like, hey, listen, if we can limit their threes, not even just guard, like put a hand up or whatever, like limit their actual attempts at three, limit their ball movement, then you have a pretty good chance to win. Maybe the Detroit Pistons can do that. They finished 10th in defense. The New York Knicks weren't that great defensively this season. OG Anunoby individually was. I still think he should make an all-defensive team. But for the Knicks, who were 0-10 against OKC and Cleveland and the Boston Celtics combined this season, everybody has to be able to guard their yard. Even Jalen Brunson. They're going to attack Jalen Brunson if again, that's the matchup in the second round. But quickly, even offensively, Banchero, who's had a fantastic series. This is probably his least efficient game. 10 of 25, 29 points, 32 points for Franz Wagner. He was 11 for 27. Again, not too efficient, but their defense was the story. They can't score. They're not a really good offensive team. But you get enough from Banchero and Wagner. Wagner was hitting some tough shots. Like, I'm talking about contested layups, contested mid-range shots, contested short mid-range shots. He was hitting a lot of really, really tough shots. So that I wouldn't, again, this was a very defensive style game, very 1997, you know what I'm saying? But this was fun. For the Celtics, I still think the Celtics are going to win. But if Orlando wants to compete, somehow pull off an upset, they're going to have to play like that. Try to get a little bit more. I thought Wendell Carter Jr. and Franz Wagner in the third quarter really changed the game. The Celtics really ended the second quarter on a run and carried that early into the third. But Wendell Carter in the third quarter, along with Franz Wagner, really changed the game. They went on a 14-0 run. And from there, it was sort of back and forth. Like, the Celtics got separation, but not enough to really win the game because the Orlando Magic would go on a run of their own. This is a very, very impressive win for the Orlando Magic. They should be happy with themselves. If they want to win, they're going to have to do it again and maybe even try to make more shots. They shot 25% from three. That's worse than what the Celtics shot. But hey, they're not a good offensive team, so you can't expect too much of them, but this was a very impressive win. I'm not going to go too in-depth on the Warriors-Rockets series. That game is tonight. Game 3 is tonight. Obviously, we're still waiting on the status of Jimmy Butler after he broke his butt. That wasn't an intentional dirty play by Amen Thompson. Let me get that out the way right now for anybody who's watching this video. It was just a very unfortunate accident. But Jimmy Butler obviously landed really hard on his back, has a pelvic contusion. No structural damage or anything, but it's sort of going to be a pain tolerance thing. Jimmy is someone who does play through injury, and I wouldn't be surprised if he played today. He is listed as questionable, so we'll see. But that demonstration in the beginning, like when I watched the Houston Rockets, they fouled Steph a lot. Like it's just a fact. It's just a fact. I'm watching Fred VanVleet grab his arms, his waist, his shorts, and I'm just like, why am I not calling it? And it's happening right in front of them. The refs, it's happening right in front of them. I'm just like, are you gonna call a foul? I understand there's a difference between physicality and just like not even playing defense, just wrestling. It makes me wonder. Let me know down below in the comment section. Are these playoffs a little too physical? Because the regular season may not be physical enough for some people. But the playoffs, it's sort of like maybe it's too much on the other end of the spectrum. Like maybe it's a little too physical. You guys let me know. Are the NBA playoffs too physical right now? If they don't have Jimmy tonight, obviously it's gonna be really, really tough. I feel like they were sort of out of sorts in the second game. Jonathan Kuminga, who was out of the rotation, he came in and put up a stinker. Obviously Curry wasn't great. Nobody was great. Draymond and Curry kept turning the ball over, which is horrible. They know that they can't do that, but they continue to do it anyways. So we'll see. They've had obviously a couple days off now to practice, film, and all that. So we'll see what the changes are for this game. But god damn, refs, like you can allow physicality, but you can't allow guys to just grab and pull and wrestle and elbow and do all that stuff. Like, that's not defense. You got a great win from the Milwaukee Bucks, who won by 16 in game 3 versus the Indiana Pacers to get back into the series. 37 points for Giannis. That's been regular. He has been unstoppable these playoffs. But then you get 37 points, 9 threes. Yes, 9 threes from Gary Trent Jr. You know, Damian Lillard had 5 points. He's obviously very rusty after missing about a month because of the calf strain, or not even a calf strain. It was a blood clot in his calf. So he's coming back these past 2 games and it's clearly been very, very rusty. But when you get guys like Gary Trent, this is why role players are important in the playoffs. If they can give you a game or 2 like this in a playoff series, it can really turn stuff around. So you get 37 points from the both of them. But the more important thing is that their defense was just way better. The defense was better. A lot more contest, a lot less open shots. Like, I feel like Indiana's offense the first 2 games were just clicking on all cylinders. I never really felt, maybe outside of game 2, there was a stretch in the second quarter where I thought Brook Lopez was fantastic defensively and really changed the game for them to get them back in the game. But of course they still lost by double digits. But like, this was more consistent defensive intensity. The fourth quarter, they ended up blowing it up. Really, at the end of the third quarter to in the fourth quarter, the Milwaukee Bucks really opened up the door and really put it away. But it starts with them being able to defend Indiana. If they can defend Indiana and they can themselves get, obviously you're gonna get all-star, superstar level from Giannis. But can you get it from Dame or Trent or Portis and play good defense? That's their formula. I did think there were a couple times where, you know, they got good transition offense. They played a little bit fast, off makes, off misses. Like, that's Indiana's shtick. On offense, they're gonna push the ball no matter what. If you miss a free throw, you make a free throw. You make a 3, you miss a 3. Like, it doesn't matter. They're gonna push. So, and I thought there were a couple times, especially in the first half, where they got really into rhythm on offense. Again, Bucks transition defense still isn't great, but they were better in the second half. They were able to get stops. They were able to slow down their offense, and then they were also able to hit their 3. Milwaukee Bucks finished the season, I believe, as the best 3-point shooting team in the league. And you get 9 threes from Trent, 16 threes as a team. They really, this is the kind of performance that if they can put up consistently more on the defensive end, because to me that's where they need to really hang their hats, then they have a chance to beat the Indiana Pacers. I still got Indiana winning. I'm not gonna change my answer now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that, but they played fantastic. So shout out to them. You know, maybe the Denver Nuggets have to play wrestling, because what was that? That game 3 was pathetic. They got smacked by the Clippers. If you really think about it, the Denver Nuggets are literally this close to being down 0-3. They won game 2. They won game 1 by 3 points. They lost game 2 by 2. And then they come into a dome, which, by the way, great atmosphere. And the Clippers just dogged on them. Like, the offense, I wouldn't even say the offense was like all that. Like, they just hit a bunch of threes. Batum came in and hit his first like 3 threes. James Harden, like the Denver Nuggets were up 7. Then James Harden, I think, hit like 2 or 3 threes in a row, and then it was clipped. It was over after that. That wasn't no pun intended. It was clipped. And you know what? Because I'm funny by accident. Sometimes I'm funny on purpose. Sometimes I'm funny by accident. That's just I'm just a comedian. You know, that's just not to toot my own horn. that's just you know, I'm a comedian. The Denver Nuggets so many open threes. I know some of James Harden's were like off the dribble, step backs, you know, his usual stuff, but my God. Like, can y'all play some defense, man? This is one of the Denver Nuggets' biggest issues since their championship run in 23. They're not a good defensive team. And then Jokic had 23, 13, and 13. You're like, yeah, that's a good Jokic game. 2 turnovers compared to 7 in game 2. Murray gave you a good game. He was also efficient. Not a lot. He had 3 turnovers, only 4 assists though. But man, Christian Brown, who was one of the most improved players this season, has been bad. Russell Westbrook was dealing with a foot injury, so he only played 9 minutes. Michael Porter Jr. got a shoulder sprain in his left shoulder. Like, they're just not getting enough. Like, it's like you could look at it and be like, you need more from Jokic, sure. But really, you need more from the other guys, from Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, Russell Westbrook, Michael Porter Jr. Aaron Gordon it hasn't been bad, but he didn't have a great game in game 3. You know what I'm saying? So, I picked the Clippers to win this series, but just the way it's turned out, I'm looking at it like, man, they're really lucky to even have won a game. They really need to get together on the defensive side of the ball, and they really need their role players, the Denver Nuggets, to step up and give some sort of offensive production. Like, there was times in the first quarter, Christian Brown got a backdoor cut. Jamal Murray got a backdoor cut. But once they got down, it was like they didn't even look like they had the spirit to come back into the game. So Denver, they gotta do a better job. They gotta do a better job.
It's Jokic. Zubac is on him. And this is for the win. Oh, it's close. They're gonna call it. The buzzer. Did Gordon beat the buzzer?
That's all I have for today, guys. Obviously, we didn't get to all the games, but we will get to down the line. The Knicks had a great win in Game 3 in Detroit. Great atmosphere in Detroit, by the way. You got Oklahoma City coming back down from the biggest halftime deficit in NBA playoff history after John Morant got hurt in the second game. In the third game, in the second quarter. That also was not dirty. Just putting that out there right now. They're going to play today. I'm assuming they're going to get swept. So, unfortunate end to their season for them. Minnesota went up 2-1 last night. You know, lots of games. We'll get to them all in due time. But as always, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. We're building here. I appreciate all the love that I get, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.